Today we're talking about a kind of technology that's pretty much all around us, but it's often completely invisible. It's called behavioral biometrics, and our goal here is simple, to help you understand what it is so you can stay aware, stay calm, and stay safe.
Just think about that for a second. We usually think of security as something we know, like a password, or something we are, like our fingerprint. But what if it's really about how we do things, the way we act? That's the big idea we're going to unpack today.
All right, so let's start with the basics. What is this stuff really? You can think of it as a kind of security that's always working quietly in the background, creating a password for you that you don't even realize you have. So what does that actually mean? Well, instead of identifying you by a password you type, this system looks at your unique patterns, your digital habits. It's a form of security that gets to know you by all those little things you do on your devices every single day. And this brings us to a really important idea. A behavioral signature. See, it's not just looking at one thing you do, it's how all your tiny, unique habits get woven together to create a digital profile. A profile that's one of a kind, just for you.
So you're probably wondering, how does this actually work? I mean, how can a system read your habits so well? Let's break down exactly what it's looking for.
First up, your typing. This is a big one. The system measures how fast you type, the little pauses between each letter, even how long you hold down a key. So even if somebody steals your password, it's really hard for them to copy your personal typing rhythm.
Next is how you use your mouse or a trackpad. The system analyzes the speed, the little curves you make, the timing of your clicks. Every movement is unique. It's almost like your digital handwriting. And the same idea applies to how you use a touchscreen.
It even looks at something as simple as how you browse a website. You know, how quickly you scroll down a page, where your cursor pauses to read something, or the way you swipe through photos on your phone. All of this helps build that unique profile of how you interact with things.
And believe it or not, it gets even more detailed than that. Your smartphone has sensors in it, right? Like an accelerometer? Well, those can detect tiny micromovements, even the slight tremors in your hand that are totally unique to how you hold and handle your device.
So how does it all come together? Well, an AI system takes all these little data points, your typing, your swipes, how you move your phone, and it pulls them all together. It finds the patterns and creates that behavioral signature we talked about. And that signature is a digital profile that is incredibly difficult for anyone else to copy.
Now, this is where things get a little more complicated, because this technology is kind of like a double-edged sword. It can be an amazing tool for security, for sure, but it also raises some real questions about surveillance. Let's take a look at both sides of the coin.
Okay, on the one hand, the security benefits are pretty clear. Your bank can use it to stop fraud in its tracks, right? If a login attempt doesn't match your unique typing style, it gets flagged. It can also make our lives a bit easier by just verifying who we are in the background, continuously. But on the other hand, there are the privacy concerns. This tracking is often happening without us even being aware of it. And over time, all that data can be used to build these really detailed profiles that might try to guess things about you, like your stress levels, or your age, or even your health.
Now, knowing all of this isn't meant to create any fear. It's really about empowerment. Because when we are aware of how this technology works, we can start making smarter, more informed choices about our digital lives.
And that's the whole point. The goal here is not to be afraid of technology, it's simply to be informed and to be cautious. Technology itself is just a tool, and it's so important for us to understand how it's being used. So with that in mind, let's look at a few simple, practical steps that we can all take. So what can you do? First, think about using privacy-focused browsers or extensions that are designed to block these kinds of tracking scripts. Second, when you install a new app, especially for something sensitive like banking, just take a moment. Look at the consent forms for any mention of behavioral biometrics. You might even have an option to opt out. It can also be a good habit to use different devices for personal browsing versus sensitive tasks. And finally, we can all play a part in supporting stronger data protection laws, just to make sure this information is handled with care. This principle applies to so much of our digital safety, and it's especially true here. Anytime you're asked to give consent or install something new, just give yourself a moment, stop, think, and verify what you're actually agreeing to. Let's just let that sink in for a second. This quote really gets to the heart of it all. You can change your password anytime, but your behaviors, they're a much more permanent part of who you are. And that's exactly why being aware is so important. Again, the goal is never to fear technology, but to stay informed and cautious. Awareness is protection. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay safe, and please consider sharing this information with your family.